No warning whatsoever. Chris is just
now just bang.
Dude, pre-show hype.
Pre-show is a real life thing.
Oh, look, people are here already. Michael,
Yeah,
Kyle.
Good. We're conditioning everybody.
Talking trash about the Jets. It's great.
Hold on, I have to share this with our friends in the premium Slack. TDM
Ooh.
Premium.
TDM
Trades in mock draft machine. Premium Slack. Expert forum community with 1,000 people in it talking football all the time.
I feel like that's something I should be a part of.
400 plus in-depth scouting reports this season.
Do you guys think we need the soundboard tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
1,000,000%.
Then let me get that set up.
Can we get Coach Saban on there?
Was that from today?
Yeah.
I don't think I grabbed that. No, but I will.
No, I mean, like, even if it's just like his actual clip.
Oh,
I don't even need like me saying it.
I can actually probably grab it in the 3 minutes beforehand.
Oh,
Nick.
Don't tease me with a good time, Shuby.
Quit asking. See how good I am.
Nolan's here. Rahul's here. Sebastian, what's up?
So we're pre-gaming tonight without the actual game.
We're pre-gaming something always.
Let's see how good I am.
Enjoying a nice beverage with our friends at Mighty Swell.
What are we going with tonight, gentlemen?
I have watermelon mint.
I have 2 blackberries.
I've talked to my agent because I don't have any yet.
I've never had watermelon mint. Let's do this. Let's try.
Oh, you've never had this one before?
No.
Ooh, this will be good. Save this for the top of the show.
This is a very big moment for you, Joe.
This is not a pre-show thing?
You can do a pre-show.
All right, here it comes. Oh, my God. Okay.
You smell it?
I do smell it, but I opened it kind of aggressively, so I'm dealing with a little bit of spillage.
You splash it?
There's definitely some splash.
My guy loves it so much he's wearing it tonight.
Yeah, well, all right, here we go.
Schlep.
Let's see, watermelon mint. I had my doubts on this one. We'll see if it's good. Oh, I should not have doubted it. It's good, man. It's like a watermelon Jolly Rancher, but like mellowed out a little bit.
The mint really gives it a mojito vibe, doesn't it?
It does at the end. It finishes with the mint. Yeah.
Yep. You get a real strong mojito vibe off of that one.
Yep. I dig it. I had low expectations. So
yeah, dig it.
Oh, yeah. That was me.
Chris, there's a lot of Macho Man Randy Savage on this show as well. I don't know if you're aware.
Do you see the T-shirt I'm wearing? I'm wearing a pro wrestling T-shirt right now. You're good with me. You're good with me. By the way, Kyle, I know I threatened you with a good time, but email being sent to myself right now of quit asking.
Lordy.
Wow.
Look at all these questions already.
Shuby, do you have a wrestler impersonation that we need to know of?
Do I have a wrestler impersonation that you guys need to know of? No, I don't think so. I don't have a good one. I could do a Macho Man. It's not great though. But if somebody already has the Macho Man covered, I'll just allow them to.
It's covered from all angles.
Then yeah.
Have you seen that face swap app?
I have. Yes.
If you put Joe on Stone Cold Steve Austin, it is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Imagine spending any time doing that.
Yeah, I mean that's
bless whoever that was.
It's my sister in the other room, sneezing up a storm while we're in the pre-show here. All right, let's add this to the soundboard here.
Oh my goodness!
And then we can play it for everybody.
And then we'll go.
And then we'll go. Yeah, hold on.
I'm cracking up over the sports nut. Marty Meatballs. That's great.
Here you go. You ready, guys? This could be loud, so watch your ears.
I hope it is.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I love
Terrific.
it. We ready to start the show?
Sure.
All right, let's send the start of the show. Here we go. Hey.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes here on the Draft Dudes podcast, presented by Locked On. It's Joe Marino and Kyle Krabs and Chris Shuby Schubert from the Draft Network, and we are your hosts here on this live episode of Would You Rather, live on YouTube, 7:30 Eastern Time on Thursday nights, in your podcast feed on Fridays. Today's podcast is brought to you by Pepsi. This football season will be different, and Pepsi is here to get you ready for game day no matter how you watch this season. Pepsi is a refreshment you need to power through game day and become a member of the League of Football Watchers. These passionate fans are the real generational talent that Pepsi fuels, because Pepsi isn't made for those who play the game.
No, it's not.
It's made for people like me, Chris, and Kyle, those who watch it.
Yeah.
Pepsi, made for football watching. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Joe.
Look at that. Somebody noticed that I remembered Chris, and I did it twice now.
Feels
you did it
great
this
to be
morning,
a part
too.
of
It's
this
good.
community, right?
Yeah, it's
Since
nice.
everybody else is they're in the boat with us. They know these things. They know that Joe has a naughty habit of leaving Shuby, our formal producer, out of the introduction at the top of the show. Chris, have I ever wrapped the show and not included you?
See, this is unfair because I think you're just taking a shot at Joe here with this, and I don't want to be a part of this. But no, you are correct. You have mentioned me at the end of every show, yes.
Every show.
Everyone? I need to
Every
check the
show.
tape. I'm going to have to check the tape.
Go ahead, check the tape. That's fine.
Not sure. All right, so it's Would You Rather.
Would you rather?
seems
Real
like-
quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. We're live on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of the Draft Network's YouTube streams are brought to you by our friends at Mighty Swell, the dank adult seltzer. Check it out. Okay. Had to get
Dank, huh? Dank.
that. Mhm. Like dank memes.
You guys ready?
Yeah. Ready for
All
some
right.
dank hypotheticals.
Then here we go. Here, I'll put up the first one from Sean. This one got in during the pre-show, and we're going to lead off with it. Would you rather give Kenny Golladay a 4-year, $88 million contract or draft Rashad Bateman with a pick in the top 20, asking for a friend, a.k.a. Dave Gettleman?
No.
Is that $22 million a season?
Yeah. Bateman in the top 20. Correct? This is the only option. There's no way you can justify $22 million per year on Golladay.
Heck no. Draft somebody in the second round. I mean, these day 2 receivers are blowing up every damn year. Keep your money and spend it some other way. And that's no disrespect to Golladay. I think he's a good player. He's not $22 million a year. Not with the way that NFL teams are finding receiving help on day 2 right now. And especially when you think about the life cycle where the Giants are.
My
It
guy.
doesn't make sense.
Life cycle.
And who is Gettleman GMing for in this scenario? Are we assuming it's the Giants?
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
Hold on.
Okay.
Joe, what would you pay? Because I see Kyle in the comments suggesting Kenny Golladay $18 million a year. Would you
Yeah,
pay
but
Kenny Golladay $18 million a year?
That's more in the ballpark.
But would you sign him to $18 million per? I still think that's rich.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I just wouldn't, because I always play the value proposition, and I feel like I can get a player for cheaper and spend that money elsewhere.
Is 14 and a half, 15. That's
Yeah,
reasonable.
I think that's where we're talking.
That's the sweet spot.
A team like Green Bay, go get Kenny Golladay for that, right? That makes
And
sense.
you could probably sign him for that too, because it's a chance to win a Super Bowl versus,
You're the-
unless you want to go get paid and chase that. And if Gettleman's going to give you that, go ahead.
Right.
But I'm good.
All right, guys. I am now tasking you guys as the new general managers of the New York Football Jets to answer this would you rather from Michael. If you were the Jets, would you rather hire Matt Campbell or David Shaw as the next head coach of the New York Jets?
Matt Campbell, and it's not even close. David Shaw's hiring window as an NFL head coach to be a commodity was like 6 years ago. That ship has sailed. I don't think I'd hire David Shaw to be a head coach in the NFL.
I really hope these aren't the leading candidates. You know what I mean? Like, I would pick Matt Campbell of these two, but if you're the Jets, I'd set my sights higher than these two guys.
I got a pop culture one for you guys
Oh,
here.
great.
And this one,
I gotta go. No.
Outstanding.
boy, do I think we're going to be divided as a group on this one. Kyle says, would you rather only eat burgers or steaks for the rest of your life?
Joe?
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, you probably do.
There's only one right answer here, Joe.
There is only one right answer.
There is only one right answer, and it's steaks. But I think that I could see Kyle playing the variety. Variety is the spice of life card, and tell me all the different ways he can have a burger with eggs on it, or salsa and jalapenos. I could see Kyle playing that card on me. But the answer here is steaks.
Now we try and keep this a family-friendly show. But fuck no, I ain't picking burgers over steaks, dude.
But that wasn't a
Steaks
bad read
all the
based on your
way.
history.
All
Based
the
on your
way, it's
history, that
steak.
wasn't a bad read.
It's steak.
Can I give a shout out to Kyle? That dude, the steak, the filet mignon that you made this summer at your
thanks.
house.
I thought you were
Dude.
talking about Kyle.
Yeah, I thought you
left
were
the
giving
comment.
this Kyle credit.
No. This is regular Kyle
Yeah,
Craft.
screw that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, my guy. I don't know what you did, man, but those were perfect.
Well,
Maybe it's
a lot
just
of
because you made like 25 of them for 4 people, so I could just bury myself in them. But they were delicious.
Well, it's the trial and error, right? Because my dad used to cook on the grill all the time, and then I didn't touch a grill for 15 years, and then I just got one. And you should have seen the first steaks I got that I put on that thing. They were shoes. They were leather. Much unlike a very tasty Built Bar, but that's neither here nor there, right? So, it's that was probably the best steak I've ever cooked on that grill was when you were up at my place.
You were talking about the heat patterns of the grill and what you wanted to get accomplished. I mean, the guy had it down to a science. A lot of respect for that.
So steaks is the answer.
Yes, I just want to make it clear I am team steaks as well. And Joe, I think everything you said about burgers could apply to steaks. Steak quesadilla, you can do like stews with. I mean, you got all sorts of different options. So I think team steak all the way. All right, this one from Brian.
Wait.
Go ahead.
If it's bad though, would you rather have a bad burger or a bad steak?
What do you define by bad?
Like
overcooked.
It's cooked very poorly.
I'd rather have an overcooked steak than an overcooked burger.
See, I feel like the range is bigger for steaks. Like if you overcook my steak, I will have a miserable experience with it.
I've seen that. I've seen that at in Phoenix.
Yeah,
After
man.
the-
I ordered a medium meat. I made the mistake of saying medium instead of medium rare, and they
Right.
gave me as well done as you could possibly get.
I think everybody had eaten before you even got like the third iteration of the steak.
Correct.
And then you just like, whatever, I'm eating this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
This one is particularly relevant because of the news we learned today about BYU and Coastal Carolina playing. This comes from Brian. From BYU's perspective and trying to raise your stock in the College Football Playoff Committee's eyes, would you rather play Coastal Carolina, which is who they're playing, or any team in the Pac-12?
Why didn't they take the Washington game? Why didn't they take it?
Where would the game have been played?
They're going to fly. They're going to play in Myrtle Beach.
Right, and they're going to play Coastal Carolina.
Play Washington. You want to go and be a top 14. You want to go to the playoffs if you're BYU. They said, we don't like what you've done. Your resume is not good enough. And they didn't take the chance to play Washington, but they're going to jump on the chance to play Coastal.
How high ranked is Washington?
That's a good point.
High ranked is Washington?
That's a good point. They're not ranked, are they?
Oh, okay. They're not ranked. How high ranked is Coastal? They're 15th? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Then they're taking a higher ranked game and they're flying across the country to play.
I promise you the committee would care more about a win over Washington than they are going to Coastal Carolina.
What did the committee put Coastal? Shuby, can you look that up for us?
I can, yes.
Because if they put Coastal in the college football playoff rankings, then I don't care what they think of a Pac-12 team because they would be willing to put Coastal in the top 25 of the college football playoff and not Washington. So if that's the case, the committee should care more about a Coastal game than it would playing Washington.
I agree with you. That is beautiful logic. I just don't think the committee's going to care.
Because they're hypocrites.
Coastal is
like BYU.
Coastal is 19, and I just want to put on the record that when you Google CFP rankings and you click on the first link, which takes you to the official website, it takes you to the final rankings of the 2017 season. So
Oh,
great website
very
you got there.
Very well done.
Football playoff.
Very well done.
Okay, this comes from Sam, who I believe on a previous episode I referred to as a troll, and I just want to once again take that back and make sure that Sam knows that I don't think he's a troll. Would you rather fire Doug Peterson and general manager Howie Roseman after the season and start 2021 fresh, or run it back for one more year?
I put this in the TDN Premium Slack literally just before we went on, because I was thinking about Dan Quinn and Matt Patricia. Both of those guys got fired, and everybody knew going into this year this was a make or break season for those coaches. And I started to think to myself, how often do coaches face a make or break season and they make it, and then they wind up having a great, successful tenure with that organization? Now, there was some feedback. Some people said Ron Rivera in 2012. I thought that was a good answer. You could maybe say
how
Tom
long was
Coughlin.
Ron on the job? Ron was on the job 2 years for that?
Right, but they started off real slow.
Okay.
So I don't think it really works. I don't think there's enough case studies that exist, unless I'm just overlooking things in the 30 minutes that I've spent thinking about this recently. I don't think facing a make or break season ever leads to like really good stuff. So get out now.
All right, I'm pulling up another one here for you.
If you're gonna make the change, you got to have better answers than what your answers are right now. That's my only apprehension. Howie Roseman has at least turned this roster over twice in 10 years, and Doug Peterson, from a game theory, 2-point conversions, fourth down, I love his aggressiveness. Former quarterback. I know they're not clicking right now, but like, don't just make the change for the sake of the change. You got to make sure that your hiring field is going to provide you a better solution. And my apprehension is, where does the Philly job stack when you take into account the age of the roster, the cost of the roster? You can't get out of Carson Wentz relative to some of the other jobs that are open. Is candidate number 3 or 4 out of the hiring pool better solutions than Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson?
I think you put that out really, really well. I like your thought process there. I guess for me, I don't really care much for Howie Roseman. I don't think this guy can draft. And I think part of the pieces that made him successful are no longer there in Joe Douglas and Andrew Berry. I don't like the idea of Howie without that supporting cast anymore. I mean, he had Trey Brown there. He's had a lot of good people with him. And the further those guys get removed and it becomes more Howie, the worse this team gets. I like Doug. I think you can win with Doug. It's obvious. I wish you can get rid of just Howie, but if getting rid of both is the only way to get rid of Howie, then I think I'd do it.
All right, guys, I'm putting you in charge of another coaching search here on the program.
Let's do it. We're the job search committee. I like it.
This time, you have to tell me what head coach coordinator combo you're going to want. This one comes from Tyler, and you are the Detroit Lions. Would you rather have Robert Saleh and Anthony Lynn, or Joe Brady and Dan Quinn? My assumption is that Saleh and Brady are the head coaches in these scenarios, and Lynn and Quinn are the coordinators.
Did these rhyme on purpose? Lynn and Quinn?
I don't think that was on purpose from Tyler, but I'm sure
it just rolled right off your tongue.
It does.
I feel pretty strong about my answer here. Do you, Kyle?
Take that as a no.
Not super high convictions, because I like a lot of the names here that are proposed. So I'd love to hear your thought process first.
I want Brady and Quinn.
Is it because, can I guess?
Sure.
The ceiling of Brady and the established track record of Dan Quinn as a defensive coordinator in the NFL.
That's part of it. That's not my number one reason. My number one reason is something that Jordan Reed said to us in the TDN scouting meeting recently, when we were talking about hiring decisions and, thinking about some of these really good young quarterbacks losing their offensive coordinator. And the point that Jordan said is, when you choose to have a defensive head coach, that offensive coordinator is kind of a revolving door. And so you never really keep that consistency that you might want with the coach and a coordinator and a quarterback. So by getting Brady as your head coach, you preserve that offensive philosophy, that playbook, the expansion and evolution of the scheme throughout the duration of that quarterback's life, right? If it winds up being a successful marriage. So to me, having Brady as the lead guy and preserving that makes it most intriguing. I don't care much for Anthony Lynn's offense. I think Saleh is an interesting head coach candidate. I love what he's been able to do with the 49ers defense, even with injuries. But it's that offensive mind and being able to pair that with a young quarterback that I would want to really flesh out with Brady.
Shuby, I have my answer.
Yeah.
If I could pick, I would probably pick Manscaped's performance package.
Great answer.
Ho, folks. Naughty or nice, 'tis the season to perform. And you're in luck because the Manscaped performance package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle and makes for the perfect gift to treat yourself this holiday season. Imagine opening a box that says your balls will thank you and the most sought after gadgets and scents a person could find awaiting you inside. Included in the performance package, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, which is waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. 79% of partners polled admitted that long nose hair is a major turn-off. You don't want Joe's beard inside your nostrils. Okay? You can get 20% off and free shipping by using the promo code TDN at manscaped.com. Thank you, Manscaped, for making our holes look sexy this holiday season.
Can I just say real quick that I very much enjoyed the QVC-esque commercial for the video watchers of this show of you doing the read and Joe showing off whatever was handy nearby from the Perfect Package 3.0?
It really just comes down to not paying attention to what Kyle's saying so that we can get through it, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. I love a good pop culture take to put Joe in a really bad spot. So
Let's go. Let's do it.
Hey, you keep saying that pop culture. You gave me a food take. I didn't know that pop culture was food.
But here you go. Here's a pop culture take for you coming from Mitchell. Would you rather listen to heavy screamo metal the rest of your life or reggae music? Now, I know my answer.
This is the easiest one we've ever gotten.
Joe's going to have such a bad answer on this.
It's reggae.
It's reggae.
Something chill, mellow.
Something chill. You got good instrumentation, good
some
singing.
Marley, bump some Marley.
You're never going to be upset. Heavy screamo metal. I don't even know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying.
You ever see Ace Ventura?
Yeah. I don't remember every line. No, I'm not going to.
No. I'm just saying, do you remember when he goes to see the guy and they're at the rave or the screamo band?
No, I don't remember this.
And he knocks on the door and they say, "What's the password?" And he goes, "New England clam chowder." Is that the red or the white? The white? And then they open the door and he slides in. No. Because that whole thing, that was a screamo concert that they were at. And the guy's like, Ace is up on the stand with the microphone and he's making a distraction because the bad guys are chasing him. And he's literally like just making shit up and screaming it as he goes. And you can't understand anything that he's saying. So it feeds into exactly what you were saying, that you have no idea what's going on in those songs.
Thank you.
I will make it clear that as somebody who listens to some heavy screamo metal, that I will take that category here.
What's the best one? What's the
give us the
what's the best one?
So I listen
Spotify a screamo.
Okay, well, so I listen to a genre of metal that is more, I wouldn't say screamo as
I
like
need a band.
Heavy screamo. Listen to a band, Joe, called Dayseeker. Okay, listen to a band called Dayseeker. They're in the metal core. There's not a lot of screaming. There's enough screaming for it to count. That's a band that I would.
For the record, Dayseeker not a sponsor of the Draftees podcast. Free publicity here.
No, I don't think you can play this on the air. I think we'll get in trouble for you doing that.
I do not own the rights to this.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that. I think you should stop that immediately and listen to that.
That's not screamo metal.
Shout out to Mike Barbera in the comments. Childhood friend. What's up, bud?
Oh, wow. Look at this. All right.
Watched Ace Ventura for the first time in my parents' living room.
Here's another one for you guys. This one comes from Cajun Flame. Would you rather pick ETN with a first, Najee Harris with a second, or Javonte Williams with a third?
Williams with a third.
He's good.
For sure, because you get other players in the first and second round.
Right,
but get a good running back.
Here's the conflict, right? Because if you go into a draft and you say, I'm just going to wait and take Javonte Williams in the third, what happens when he's gone in the 50s like Cam Akers was?
You say, oh, well, and pick a different running back.
Okay, and that's what happened to Tampa Bay, and that's how you end up drafting Keyshawn Vaughn in the third round. who's your fourth
Well,
running
you
back on the
also
roster.
you don't poop your pants and pick Keyshawn Vaughn in the
They
third
needed a
round.
running back, they thought.
Right. I could have helped them with that.
So that's the risk, though, right? And when
that's a good point.
If you're just going to box in and say, all right, we'll go best running back available in round 3.
You
So
gotta pivot.
That's my only apprehension. So maybe I could get on board with Najee. I'm never going to just pound the table to draft a running back in the first round. I understand why teams do it.
You did it this morning.
Yeah, and it makes sense for certain teams in certain instances. But it's not the best scenario possible. But like my other options for Miami, based on their roster needs, was like, okay, take edge 3 or Creed Humphrey. And like, I think their offensive line has shown enough with their passing game that like, I can go get Josh Myers in round 2 if I wanted to instead. So the combination
too, man, out of
Bama. Yep. And I won't be surprised if he ends up being like a late 2.
Right.
With the way he's playing this year.
So this is what's going to happen to Miami. They're going to go Waddle, ETN, Zaven Collins, and Landon Dickerson, and I'm going to be on the ledge. I'm going to be on the ledge for sure.
Guys, we're going to continue our coaching search takes, or would you rathers. And boy, can I not wait for your responses to this one. Mitchell, shout out to you. You're the music one, and now you hit me with this one that I just found.
Mitchell's bringing some heat today.
Would you rather hire Adam Gase as your offensive coordinator or Matt Patricia as your defensive coordinator?
You have crickets. Crickets on the soundboard. Oh, Kyle's chugging.
Let me start the second one a while.
I don't know what to say here. I think Adam Gase is a better head coach than Matt Patricia. I think he's been a more successful head coach.
Retire. Braden has the right idea.
Yep, great.
I would rather retire.
Take,
Neither one of these guys deserve those chances. I guess Patricia as a DC would be my choice, reluctantly.
Yeah, they both don't have good player relations either, which is the hardest part about it. Like, at least if one guy, like his players would like pound the table for him, be like, okay, I'll take that guy, even though he might not call good plays. But like
A'Shaun Robinson.
How many Detroit Lions did we see come out and just slam dunk on Patricia when he got fired?
Right. It's not good.
How bad? How many you've seen it firsthand with Jordan Phillips and Adam Gase. Dude played the games of his lives when he played Adam Gase's Dolphins because he was that raring to go and to stick it to him.
Yeah. Darius Slay's another one. That's a good point, Sam.
Cajun Flames got one here. This is like breaking the fourth wall. This is work related, guys. I actually like this one a lot.
Oh, okay.
Would you rather have to do a live show like what we're doing right now every night for 2 hours, or only pre-recorded shows that are an hour in length? I know my answer.
Yeah, so I have my answer too. I love doing the live shows. This isn't hard. I mean, I can't believe that this is what we get to do. I will say that having the flexibility built into doing pre-recorded shows would be something that I would like. I don't want to have every single night at 7:30.
Imagine being Scott Van Pelt. Dude's got to do like a 11 p.m. Sports Center every night.
He probably, he must work like, he probably starts working 7 p.m. and gets done like somewhere early morning, like 3 o'clock. Sleeps, hangs out with the fam, and do it again.
Yeah.
My answer is the live show, but that's because my role on this show is a little different than you guys. So live shows require no editing. Pre-recorded shows require editing.
You just want to do less work, shooting.
No, I just
was disappointing.
Would you rather?
Hustle.
Give me a 7:30 commitment every day of my life over having to edit these assholes. That's what he said. That's what he just said. That's how I took it, Shub.
Okay, sorry. My apologies. Hold on. Let me try to find another one here for you. I was too busy going down the road with that one here. Let me scroll here. Wow, Kyle, this job is really hard when you're scrolling through here. Okay. I found one from Rahul. He put this in there a couple of times. I actually like this one. As the Colts, would you rather have redone the DeForest Buckner trade or use that pick on a quarterback like Jordan Love at 13?
DeForest Buckner.
Yeah,
you're going to get more swing. You're going to get more swings at the bat at quarterback, and you can always break the trend, right? Because Chris Ballard, he has not been a guy who has moved up and given up future assets. He has been more of a pick by volume approach? Well, if you're a quarterback away and you find that right circumstance, give up what it takes to go get that guy. Because Andrew Luck, we kind of blindsided you when he retired in the preseason, and that is what it is. It's kind of out of everybody's control. They wanted to give Jacoby Brissett a chance to prove he could be the guy. Didn't really turn out that well. Okay, well, this was our first offseason of really assessing what the hell is going on at quarterback. Now you get a chance to see the rest of the roster, gauge how close you are. If I were the Colts, they got a really good team. And they still have cap flexibility as well and spending power flexibility. I wouldn't be afraid to give up 2 or 3 ones to go make a splash and go get a stud quarterback.
That's a good point on the cap flexibility. They're like in the top 3 again.
Yeah,
for cap
again,
space. It's
like
unbelievable.
the third year in a row, right?
Dude, so speaking of Buckner, like we saw what that Colts defense looks like without him on Sunday against Tennessee. I mean, the Titans hung 45 points on him, had
35 in the first half.
Right, 45 rushes, 229 yards. That's 5 yards a pop, 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's what happens when that defense doesn't have Buckner. He's a difference maker.
Yeah, DeForest Buckner is a stud. And you got him for just a 1, not even a top 10 pick.
Right, so the value for the 49ers is they couldn't pay him. So at least they just get a younger player in Kinlaw, but you already got that player in Buckner. Now you got to pay him $20+ million a season.
Well, and that's the luxury of having the cap flexibility that they've had. You can go out and sign that stud and make sure he's under contract for the next 4 or 5 years.
Heck, the Colts should think about trading their 1 again for a player like Buckner this year.
Right.
Colts
especially because Buckner's young. Buckner's not even like 29. That's the thing about some of these teams that like they trade and they get guys at the tail end of their prime. Buckner's only coming into his prime now. They're going to get 3 contracts out of him. Buckner?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably what, 24?
26 years old.
Okay.
And to answer your question, the Colts have $75.9 million in cap space next year.
Yeah, let's top 5 for sure, right?
That is third. The only teams that have more cap space are the Jags and the Jets.
Pricks.
The Patriots are pretty high up there too, right?
Let me click the list.
64, I think.
63.4. They are 4th in cap space. Okay, guys, how about this one? I believe we had this conversation on today's mock draft show that we did because you guys talked about both of these guys. Which offensive lineman, this one comes from Braden, which offensive lineman would you rather have, Rashawn Slater or Liam Eichenberg?
I want Kyle to take this one.
It depends. Well, here's the thing. Like we divide the country, right? So the scouting department has regions. I get the Big Ten and I got Notre Dame. So I've seen a lot of these 2 guys. Slater is much more positional diversity. There's a feeling that he could play potentially all 5 spots along the offensive line. So if you are really looking to overhaul your offensive line and think about Cincinnati Bengals is a good example this offseason, if he's there at 33. You think about what the Dolphins did this past offseason in bringing in 5 new offensive linemen. Buffalo Bills 2 years ago, right, Joe? What was it, 7 offensive linemen they brought in one offseason?
I think they
might have been even more than that.
It was 8, and they drafted Cody Ford in the 2nd round.
Right. So, and Cody Ford, again, positional flexibility, play inside and outside and find the best combination of 5. If you have that big of an overhaul in front of you on the offensive line, Rashawn Slater's probably your guy. If you're an offensive tackle away from having a good group, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Liam Eichenberg probably makes more sense.
I think I know the answer for both of you on this one, but I like the hypothetical that this brings up. This comes from Sam. Would you rather keep your face clean-shaven for the rest of your life or your head clean-shaven for the rest of your life?
Head.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't grow a beard, so I'm going to go face. Got to keep the hair around.
People would probably love to see me get rid of this little nonsense up here.
Yeah, but would you go bald? Like, I don't know if that's...
I've done bald. I did bald last summer. And it was okay. I didn't mind it. It's the upkeep on the head that bothers me. Right? Because you can let your face go for 5 days and you get like stubble and you're like, oh yeah, I'm growing it out. And then like you realize it looks like shit, so you shave it off. But if it's your head and you're going to keep it bald, you got to shave it every other day,
It's just
that
way too much
extra
work.
maintenance for me is what concerns me about taking head over face.
Yeah, Joe's keeping the beard. That's
Just
I know,
keeping.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, if I could
You're
grow
right.
that too.
Right, it would be a different story.
If it
You know-
wasn't for the Manscaped Performance Package, I'd have that inside each one of my nostrils. But
You know who we haven't heard from tonight yet, gentlemen?
Vontel,
And you know who I got to take from?
he tweeted it to us. I know he's dropped it in the comments a couple times. The man wants his hypothetical read, and it's a good one.
All right, gentlemen. These schools offer you a scholarship. Which of these would you choose? And Vontel asks you to factor in off-the-field stuff too. UNLV, Texas State, San Jose State, or the University of New Mexico?
There's only one right answer, and it's because of off the field stuff.
I think there are two possible answers, but one more so than the others.
Something stands out to you on this?
Yes. I'm going to go live in San Jose.
Really? I was going to say I'm going to go live in Vegas.
No, Vegas would be trouble for me.
But that's the logic that I'm using, is that it's a good place to live.
Yeah,
San Jose State would be second.
The only appeal to any of these teams from a young 18-year-old making a decision for the next 4 years of his life is location. Find me the appealing football sell on any one of these, Joe. Go ahead.
It's the same. So that's where you have to go with the off the field, right?
Right.
All right.
Oh, Chris, get this one from Dylan. It's the second most recent one.
The one about a specific running back in Green Bay. Sure. Dylan asks, would you rather pay Aaron Jones market value or roll the dice with AJ Dillon, Jamal Williams, and a possible rookie?
This is so easy for me, because I don't believe in paying any running back ever for any reason.
Joe, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What a great take by you. I agree with this wholeheartedly.
So I'm going to roll with Dylan Williams and some fourth-round pick, and we'll be just fine, and we'll not pay Aaron Jones $14-15 million a season. I think Kyle might be frozen, or he's just really exaggerated with this face that he's making. Is it just you and I, Chris?
I think he's just exaggerating, but who knows? He might have just left.
Okay.
No. He's coming back. He's coming back.
Hey.
We thought you were just exaggerating your face incredibly well.
No, I was getting ready to say what Aaron Jones's spot track market value was, but I see Sam got that already. It's $13.3 million per season.
That's just so much money
for a running back.
For a running back, yes.
Joe's all the way out, I can tell.
Right.
He was all the way out, yes.
Yeah. Aaron Jones is really good, but I'd probably go with a rookie and go find one of these early day 3 guys to pair. I mean, Aaron Jones was a 5th round pick, so that would probably be my path. They overdrafted AJ Dillon, no?
Right. Get big thighs though, Kyle. Big old thighs.
That's a lot of fun.
Tough, right?
Talking about the memes with his thighs.
Right. It's like people were declaring him a generational talent as soon as they saw the picture of his thighs.
Right.
Like, you ever seen this try to read a defense? Like, good gracious. All right,
guys. You're now John Elway. Would you rather stick with Drew Lock for another year, trade a 3 for Matt Stafford, or draft the 4th quarterback left in the first round? Now, I don't know if you're just trading Stafford for a 3, but I'm putting it up there and letting you guys.
I'm taking that one. A 3 for Stafford.
Yeah.
For sure.
All day long.
I mean, Stafford's got plenty good life in him.
Yeah. Stafford's 32.
Yeah.
Yes. You trade a 3rd for that all day long. When you consider the skill players that they have there, you still have a 1st and 2nd round pick to try and add more appealing pieces. I like Dalton Reisner. Garrett Bowles is playing really well. Lloyd Cushenberry is a mid-round center. You got to get rid of that Juwan James contract, and that'll make it even easier to pay Stafford because you're flushing that money for Juwan James down the toilet right now.
You got Glasgow. I mean, you got something going there.
Yes.
I mean, they're Matt Stafford away from being a tough team to deal with, man. Yeah, for a 3.
Yes.
I feel like I should give him a 2 as well.
Kyle, this one is directly for you because
great.
I want you to have to make a decision here. This comes from I Make Music, although some other people have been asking other hypothetical versions of this. Would you rather draft Mac Jones or Kyle Trask in the 1st round, and why?
I think there's an easy answer here.
Well, I know that's why I'm asking.
Give me the Saban while I chug.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Done. That's my answer.
All right, one more time for those of you who maybe didn't.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
No.
It's Trask, though. Trask's a better prospect.
Probably. They're both marginal athletes.
Right.
I'm not blown away by either one of their arms.
Correct. Trask got better size.
Yeah. It's Trask.
This one from Daniel here. Would you rather draft a quarterback in the third every year or draft a running back in the first every 5 years? I love just the thought process that goes into this because I would have never thought of this. This is incredible.
I did the quarterback in the third.
Because if you keep hitting on him, you can trade him.
Right. And you can do, I mean, you could still pick a quarterback in the first round, too. You know, you might not ever have
the old
to.
RG3 Kirk Cousins model, huh?
Yeah. Kirk Cousins was the one that worked out, huh?
But every 5 years for running back isn't bad because you never have to pay him a second contract.
Correct. But what if you suck and you're picking seventh or third or something? You know what I mean? Like,
and I'm trading back.
Right. It's a good point.
I might take the running back.
For this next one, Joe, I want you to take your fandom out of this and just look at the two situations
I always do.
on a neutral site. This one from Braden. Would you rather watch a playoff game in the Buffalo snow or in the Seattle pouring rain?
Like physically have to be there?
Like you physically have to be there. Now you'd pick Buffalo snow because Buffalo would be in the playoffs.
Pretend it's a neutral site.
Oh yeah. I'm only thinking about the weather and me having to attend a football game. That's all I'm thinking about.
Okay. All right.
So here's the thing about it's both going to be cold, right? I mean, Seattle playoff cold. That's cold. So you're cold and wet. You don't have to be wet when it's snowing outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just not being drenched. Give me the snow. I think that's the right answer.
I have done this. Sat in an NFL stadium for a NFL game in the snow in Cleveland, of all places. I ever tell you this story, Joe?
Yes, but maybe not everyone knows.
So
I don't know the story, Kyle. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the year was 2007, right? And I was a freshman in college, and I was in Western PA, Indiana University, Pennsylvania at the time. And my dad, we lived in central Pennsylvania, or my hometown was in central Pennsylvania. He worked in Michigan, and he worked remotely, but every 2 months he had to go in for like 2 weeks. So he would drive out to Michigan, and he's driving through Ohio and wins on the radio season tickets to the Browns that season, just driving through. Just kind of randomly called in, won. They played the Dolphins that year. So I went to my first ever Miami Dolphins game that year. And that was, of course, the year that the Dolphins went 1-15 and they lost to Cleveland. But the last game that we went to was the last game of the year. They played the San Francisco 49ers. And it was 20-7. And they went 10-6 that year. And it was December 30th. And it was cold as shit. So I am never picking sitting in the snow for a game. I will never do it.
You would rather just be cold, like 30 degrees in rain.
The snow makes it worse. Joe, did you know that the Browns played the Bills that year and won a game 8-0?
Yeah, I did.
8-0.
And then they played on Monday Night Football, I think, a couple years later, and it was 6-9 was the score. Phil Dawson from 56 yards to win it. You and I attended the ACC championship game, Pitt versus Clemson.
It was probably 35 in rain or 40.
Yeah, that sucked.
Cold. It was cold.
That sucked a lot, right?
Yeah, ETN hit a couple home runs though.
He did
a couple dingers. He's like Big Al.
Did Christian
Big
Wilkins
dingers? Who
had a pick? Did Wilkins have a pick in that game?
Yeah, he had a pick and he almost ran it back for a touchdown.
Right. Yeah,
but it was just short.
Fun game. Fun game.
Shuby, you want to hit us with one more here?
Sure. How about this one here? This one from Cajun Flame. You can only choose football prospects from the following schools for 10 years in the draft. Would you rather do so from Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, or Georgia?
This might be the best hypothetical.
Yeah, this is really, really good. We have to assume the next 10 years, starting like 2021 for the next 10 years.
Till 2031, yep.
This is
Every round, every pick.
It's Alabama, right?
Okay, it's not Georgia, and it's not Clemson. Little known fact, Clemson doesn't always put out great NFL players every year.
Look at Clemson's draft prospects on defense this year.
Who are they?
Garyon Kendrick and Venables kid.
Jordan Williams and James Skalski?
Yeah. It's not Clemson.
It's not Clemson. I don't think it's Georgia either, to be honest with you. Because that place is going to burn to the ground pretty soon.
Georgia?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be the next rendition of all these schools that like a guy's there for a while and then he maybe surprisingly leaves and then the bottom drops out.
Right.
There's a glass ceiling with Georgia, it feels like, and it feels like it's all going to bubble up. Here.
Correct. And the way that they've recruited.
No, thank you.
Okay. So
I would still take that wide receiver, though.
Of course. But
Pickens is
so
physical free.
So it's down to Alabama or Ohio State.
The perception is Alabama guys are more. Ow, I'm getting all excited over here. More high floor, low ceiling players. That's the concern with Alabama players.
Which one do you trust to put out a quarterback, though?
My quarterback's from Alabama.
Right, but let's be honest, the first one, right, in a long time. Who's the and same thing with like Fields this year with Ohio State. Like Haskins was their first round pick at quarterback, and
well, to be fair, Ohio State also had Joey Burrow, but they didn't know what they had in him, just like Georgia had Justin Fields and didn't know what they had in him.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. That's it. We're done. We got to wrap. This was great. We pregame, no game, but nevertheless, Shuby point guarding us to victory. Shout out to Shuby for another excellent job handling the hypotheticals and doing all the dirty work for us here on tonight's episode of Draft Dudes. Joe and I, Joe, we got staff meeting tomorrow, TDN staff meeting tomorrow. Getting ready to start working through some team needs for an update to the mock draft simulator. So swing over to thedraftnetwork.com, use the mock draft simulator, come back early next week. There's going to be some new experiences there as far as what teams will be prioritizing what players early on. We'll be revisiting which teams need a quarterback, kind of tweaking that stuff a little bit. So this is a living, breathing experience at thedraftnetwork.com for their mock draft simulator. And we look forward to you guys experiencing all of those tweaks and changes for yourselves over the course of the weekend. And of course, all the way through draft season. Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino, Chris Schubert, the Draft Dudes podcast. Cheers. Thanks for watching. If you missed us and you're listening on the podcast feed, Monday night, YouTube, the Draft Network, come on and join us.